In Chapter 5 and 6, we talk about arithmetic sequences, and this is where we have a sequence that we are adding or subtracting something every time. So we're adding or subtracting. That makes it arithmetic. This is very similar to a line. We have, for example, the sequence 9, 7, 5, 3 is arithmetic because in between each value we are subtracting 2. This is constant. Another example would be -4, -1, 2, and 5. We are adding 3 each time. That makes this arithmetic. So in arithmetic sequence, you're adding or subtracting the same number every single time. In class, we looked at how to write an equation, and we said that the equation is going to be a sub n, so you say a sub n, that's how you pronounce that, is equal to dn, where d is the common difference, so that's what you're adding or subtracting each time, plus your a sub 0, and this is kind of like the y-intercept. It's your zeroth term. Zeroth is not a word. So it's the 0 term. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at an example and say we are given the sequence 4, 7, 10, and 13. So in class, we had talked about making this like a table. Your first term is 4, second is 7, third is 10, fourth is 13. So we're going to have to work backwards to find out what the 0 term is. So before we do that, we can find out how much we're increasing each time, which is +3. So if we work backwards, let's subtract 3 from 4, and that will give us our first value, which is a 1. So when we put it all together, it's kind of like writing an equation. We're going to have our a sub n, which is like our y value, equals our slope, which is a common difference, 3 times n, plus our 0 term, which is 1. So a sub n equals 3n plus 1 would be our equation. And again, it's very similar to a line. We have kind of like a slope and a y-intercept. Another example, say we have -13, -15, -17, and -19. Again, I'm going to make myself a table, my first, second, third, and fourth term. So I'm going to have to work backwards to find my 0 term. So I'm first going to look to see what is happening each time. Turns out I'm subtracting 2. So I'm going to have to work backwards to find out what is my initial value, which is going to be -11. So we're going to take our common difference times n plus our initial, that starting value, the 0 term, which is going to be -11. Okay. We're going to do one example, and this is where we are given a couple pieces of information. So say we're given that the first term is 6, the common difference is 3, and that our n is 10. So first we want to find out what our equation is. So I'm going to make myself a table, 0, 1, 2, 3. I know my first term is 6. So when I say first, I mean the number 1 term. And we know that our common difference is 3. So we're going to add 3 each time. So we have 6, 9, and 12. So if I work backwards, I can know my 0 term is 3. So I can write my equation, a sub n equals 3n plus 3. So again, this 3 here is because we're adding 3 each time. This 3 here is because that is our 0 term. So the question is now, what is the 10th term? So we're going to plug 10 in for n into our equation. So 3 times 10 plus 3, excuse me, would be 30 plus 3, which is equal to 33. So instead of having to write out this chart to the 10th term, we can use our equation.